Hey there, this is 5.2. We're solving quadratic equations. Factor completely, then use the zero product property to solve the following equations. Remember, you must set the equation equal to 0 before you factor. Well, number 1 is set equal to 0, so we can proceed with factoring. There is no GCF, so you can just go ahead and look for numbers that multiply to negative 12 and add to 4, so that would be 6 and negative 2. And then those values go behind the x's in factored form. But folks, realize this is not done. We still have an equation that we have to solve. But now that it's in factored form, I can use the zero product property and it gives me the solutions super easily. So what makes this factor, x plus 6, equal 0? I'll solve for x. It'd be negative 6. What that means, folks, is if you plugged in negative 6 for x in this equation, and you squared it, and you added that with 4 times 6, and you subtracted 12, plug it in your calculator, you'll get a 0 out. That makes the left side equal to the right side. But some of these are going to have more than one answer, so the other answer would be whatever makes this other factor equal 0. So what makes x minus 2 equal 0? 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. And the same thing, you plug in 2 here and there, you'll also get a 0 out. Now number 2 is not set equal to 0. So we need to set that equal to 0 first. So you get x squared plus 9x plus 20 equals 0. Now we can factor and use the zero product property. So numbers that multiply to 20 and add to 9. 4 and 5. So x plus 4 times x plus 5 equals 0. So when you ask yourself, because anything times 0 is 0, or 0 times anything is 0, what makes that thing equal 0? Because if I can make the green factor, this boxed region, become 0, 0 times whatever x plus 5 would be, for whatever number x is, it's going to be 0. So what makes x plus 4 equal 0? I want it to be negative 4. Is it negative 4 plus 4 is equal to 0? That's the solution. And what would make the other factor equal 0? What do you plug in for x? When you add to 5, you get 0. Well, wouldn't that be negative 5? But if you're not sure, set the equation equal to 0 and solve it. Yeah, you get negative 5. So if you plug in negative 4 there and there, you get negative 20 out. Or if you plug in negative 5 in those two spots, you get 20 out. Number 3, what number that when we square and add it to itself, you get 30? Well, I don't know, but let's set this equal to 0 so I can know, I can figure it out. Set it equal to 0, now factor. So numbers that multiply to negative 30 and add to 1, because there's an invisible 1 in front of that x. So x, let's see, it would be 6 and 5, negative 5, right? X plus 6, x times negative 5 equals 0. All right, what makes this factor equal 0? Negative 6. What makes this factor equal 0? Positive 5. There we are. That's the first row. Nice job. So then, the next row, let's set that thing equal to 0 by adding 4. Oh boy, now we got this number out in front of the x squared. There is no GCF, so we can't factor that out. By the way, those of you that are doing your homework on special factoring, realize that that number and that number can be square rooted. So this could be a unique type of answer, but let's proceed with the way that we're most likely to proceed. So we curse out that a value, the number in front of the x squared, and we realize we have to use the split the middle technique. So we take a times c, 25 times 4, which equals 100. So we're looking for ways to multiply to 100 and add to 20. That'd be 10 and 10. Then remember, because of that cursed 25, the a value out in front of the x squared. We put x's with the 10 and the 10, and we split the middle. So now we rewrite this polynomial as 25x squared plus 10x plus 10x plus 4 equals 0. See what I did there? So this 20x became 10x and 10x, because 10x plus 10x is 20x, and then I brought down the original parts. The thing is, though, you pick the right pair, and there's only one right pair of numbers, 10x and 10x in this case, that will allow you to now factor by grouping. So we factor out a 5x, we're left with 5x plus 2, and we can factor out a 2, and we're left with 5x plus 2. Because again, these binomials right here, I shouldn't use that color, I suppose, right here, have to match. If you used any other pair of numbers that add to 10x, add to 20x, excuse me, besides 10x and 10x, this matching situation wouldn't happen. You wouldn't be able to factor it further. So 5x plus 2, just took the GCFs, put them together, times 5x plus 2. I multiplied it by the common factor, equals 0. Oops, thought I was still on. Equals 0, equals 0. There we go. All right, well, unlike the other situations, because I think if you look up to number 3 where I'm kind of pointing out there, I think you were feeling pretty confident on how to get your answers from the factored form once it's set equal to 0. But this one, the answer is not -2, because if you put a -2 for x right here, right there, -2 times 5 is -10, plus 2 is -8. That's not equal to 0. Again, you take the factor, 5x plus 2, and you set it equal to 0. And so you got to solve for x here. So you get 5x equals -2, so then x equals -2/5. Yes, it's just a fraction. That happens. Fractions happen. Same with right there. 5x plus 2 equals 0. Well, hey, isn't that gonna? That's the exact same equation, right? So the answer's got to be x equals -2/5. So really, the answer is x equals -2/5. So you get the same answer. We call that double root. So the answer is x equals -2/5. Number 5, subtract 21, 2x squared minus x minus 21 equals 0. Can't factor anything out, no GCF, so then, oh shoot, we have to acknowledge this 2 and multiply it by the -21. So we're actually trying to multiply to -42 and add the -1, so that'd be -7 and +6. So I'm going to put x's with those. And remember, that's going to become my -1x. Right there, I'm going to split the middle. However, while that is the only pair of numbers that you can use, I am going to switch the order. I'm going to write down 2x squared. And now instead of writing -7x plus 6x, I'm going to write plus 6x minus 7x. This part right here still equals -1x. I just chose to switch the order. It's okay to have it the original way to write it -7x plus 6x. Some of you are going to be bothered by the fact that you can barely factor anything out of the first parentheses, just an x, no number. I don't know if that makes you feel better that you can factor out a number, then do it. If you don't care, leave it the way it is. You can factor a 2x out of here, and you're left with x plus 3. And then out of the second one, you can factor out a -7. That way you're left with a positive x and a positive 3 that matches the other one. Take your GCFs, put them together, 2x minus 7. Oh, you know what I've been forgetting to do is write down the equal sign the last couple times. There we go, equals 0. We want to solve this equation. What makes this equation equal 0? Well, I'll tell you what. When I look at this factor right here, ooh, yeah, that one, I know that x equals -3. So that's correct. If you plug in -3 up here and up here, I'm back on the original problem for number 5, you get 21 when you plug in -3. Try it on your calculator. But there's another answer. You'd have to take 2x minus 7, that factor, and set 8 equal to 0. So you get 2x equals 7. So, Mr. Engelhart's getting pretty excited over there. I don't know if you can hear him or not. So there's my two solutions, folks. Let's try number 6, negative 2x squared plus 16x minus 32 equals 0. Hey, I do have a cursed number in front of the x squared, but I can factor it out. I'm going to factor out a negative 2 here. It's going to leave me with x squared minus 8x plus 16 equals 0. And now this is an easy one to factor. I'm looking for numbers that multiply to 16 and add to negative 8. So we get negative 2. X minus 4, x minus 4. Oops, because I got excited. Negative 4 are the two numbers there. So then solutions would be x equals 4 and x equals 4. Double root again. So x equals 4 is the answer. Awesome. Hopefully you had that written down. Lunchtime. See ya. Just kidding. But if not, you could rewind that, right? Because, oh, which one's faster? Used to be able to circle things and just hit the middle, but it's a different app. Alrighty, number 6. Oh, geez, it looks different. That's scary. Look at your factor chart, folks. What's different about this is that it has two terms. And if it has two terms, you could think about, well, can I square root both numbers or can I cube root both numbers? You can square root both. And when it's square root, you add the square roots and you subtract the square roots. You also could have written this as x squared plus 0x minus 81 equals 0. So you're looking for numbers that multiply to negative 81 and add to 0, which would be 9 and negative 9. Hooray, there we are. So what is, given this factor that I'm boxing and now arrowing to multiple times, given this factor, what's the answer from that factor? Negative 9. And what makes this factor equal 0? Whatever makes it equal 0 is called the solution. That would be positive 9 for this one. Or you could say x equals plus or minus 9. That's the best answer. Number 8. Oop, got to set that equal to 0. So it's minus 25. We get x squared minus 25 equals 0. Hey, there's only two terms, and I can square root both of those, and the square roots are x and 5. So add the x and the 5 and subtract the 5 from the x. And then your answers are negative 5 and positive 5. So x equals plus or minus 5. Last one. Oh, you know what? I could have zoomed in. Probably like zooming in full screen on your YouTube video here. Gotta set it equal to 0. Sometimes we don't just use numbers. Oh, lordy, we're in Algebra 2, so sometimes we use variables. Minus 2x, minus 2x. Oh, yeah. See, we've got the set equal to 0. I'm just careful here, negative 1x minus 2x is negative 3x. Bring down the minus 35. Oh, curses. We've got a leading coefficient, an a value that we can't factor out. So we multiply a and c, you get negative 70. So we're looking for numbers that multiply to negative 70 and add to negative 3. That's, oh boy, what is going on with my handwriting? Too much coffee. Negative 10, positive 7, right? So we're split in the middle. 2x squared minus 10x plus 7x minus 35 equals 0. Can factor a 2x out of these. Can factor a negative 7 out of those. Positive 7. We're trying to solve this equation. Take your GCFs, put them together. I know I'm going a little faster, folks, and that's where you should really be trying to do these on your own and then just fast forward to the next step if you're feeling a little more confident. And then just check. All right, so what makes this factor equal 0? I don't know, set it equal to 0, and then we can solve for it. What makes 2x plus 7 equal 0? Negative 7 over 2. That negative sign did not look very good. See that negative sign from when we subtracted? Probably just made it look worse. What makes this factor equal 0? X, set it the factor equal to 0, you're going to get positive 5. Maybe that one you were really confident on, you could just see it. Yeah, right? Because plug a 5 in there, 5 minus 5 is 0. Makes the whole thing equal 0. 0 times anything is 0, makes the equation true.